Hey, time to shine today. Varsity squad is Scott Ferguson, and I got my neighbor to the south. She's about 60 miles to the south. My good friend, Vamari Roman, or Roman as a lot of people might call her, but I'd like to kind of twirl my tongue every once in a while. I'll try anyways. Not that great, but she's the founder of Be Productive Coaching. And what she really does is she takes people that might be a little burned out, and she likes to use the paralysis analysis, like really reading too much into things of leveling up their career. And she, for lack of a better term, dumbs it down, adds her expertise, and helps them level up. So she, like I said, she helps them get out of an analysis or paralysis analysis, gain confidence, and take massive action to find the career that moves them. She found the Be Productive Coaching in 2014 and serves clients from all over the world working virtually. With over 20 years of experience in leadership, Amari has successfully mentored and coached hundreds, that's some serious credentials, peeps, hundreds of high-performing professionals in various industries, assisting their transition to live exciting lives filled with greater purpose, career satisfaction, and, of course, the dollar higher pay. So Vamari, I'm so stoked. Thank you so much for coming on. If you could, please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today squad. But first, what is your favorite color and why?
I am wearing it.
All right. Is that fuchsia or pink?
It's red, actually.
It's red. Okay. Sorry.
It's a red. It's okay.
Okay.
For a long time, it's funny you ask that question. For a long time, I would answer that question with, I don't have a favorite.
Right.
Because I just love variety, and I just, there are many colors that I like. But in recent times, I think after I became an entrepreneur and trying to find my brand, I realized that red is my color.
It is, and it's in your color wheel. It's a
Yes.
powerful color. It's a driven color, but it seems like you're a little bit soft-spoken. Maybe a light blue might kind of flow in there as well at times.
Soft-spoken? I think that's a first.
Well, we'll call it caring. Or maybe
Okay.
blue caring. So give us a little bit of origins, because you were in the corporate world. Am I saying that correctly? And then you got bored, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Let's go there.
So I say I grew up because I literally grew up in the hospitality industry. My father was a general manager for hotels, and my first job was at a front desk at his hotel.
Okay.
And I ended up falling in love with the industry. And although I wanted to originally become a psychologist, I did so well in the industry that my career just really took off. And I spent 22 years in hospitality, working with first some small family-owned corporations in New York City. And then when I came down to Miami, I worked with Sonesta Hotels. And then from there, I went to Hilton Hotels.
Well, so you would think that, like, in the hospitality and working the front desk, a psychology degree probably would come in with a tech, because I know your husband's a realtor. I'm a realtor by trade, which my squad knows that. But like working the front desk of a hotel, you kind of have to have your marriage counselor hat on, all the other kinds. So you were getting prepped to be
Absolutely.
a coach.
Oh, absolutely.
You're dealing with stuff. Awesome. So let's take it from there. So you had the 22 years in, and how did we level up into being a coach?
So I was 22 years in, and throughout that career, there were certain times during my career that I felt like I needed to do something greater, that, I was enjoying and I was really good at what I did, but the fear of, I didn't finish my college, so I didn't have my degree. So that was a fear that creeped in quite a bit. And I found that anytime that I thought about wanting to switch careers, I didn't know where to start. I just thought that not having a degree was going to hold me back. I didn't know how to transfer my skills.
Okay.
And so I found myself at the 22 years at a position where I was the director of sales and marketing for a hotel. And I took that position because it was closer to home. And they actually gave me the pay that I had asked for. It wasn't a hotel that I would normally go to work at, just because most of my hotels were luxury resorts and in either Caribbean or some type of beach destination. And this
Okay.
was actually a hotel near the airport. So it was a totally different type of hotel. But I wanted to take the challenge because I found myself bored.
Okay.
And so I took on the challenge, and immediately I knew why they offered me the salary that I asked for. I definitely worked very hard for it. I knew immediately it wasn't going to be the right fit in terms of the company. However, I stuck it out because I'm old school, and I felt that it needed to look good on my resume, that I was there at least a year. I was not one to jump around from company to company. And so that fear creeped in again, and that insecurity, and I decided to stay. And I was miserable for most of that year, working very long hours, not liking the culture that I was in. It didn't agree with my values. And towards the end of that year, when I was getting ready to quit, my boss at the time, who was a general manager, basically showed his true colors to me.
Mm.
So he had a different leadership style that I didn't necessarily agree with, but he kept that away from me because I was the director of sales and marketing, and we were bringing in revenues, and
Okay.
he really needed that. And so at that point in time, he was not happy with certain numbers, and he called me and blindsided me. I didn't appreciate the way he did it.
Sure.
And immediately after I proved that his numbers were incorrect, he became defensive.
Of course.
And from that moment on, we were like head to head. We weren't getting along. You know, I'm not a yes sir type of person.
She's fiery red. There you go.
So we were, we went to head. We weren't getting along, and I was getting ready to quit. It was going to be a year in November, but sometime, I think it was either September or October, HR called me in, and they gave me a nice severance and gave me a non-confidentiality to sign. And, I happily said goodbye.
Okay.
But I found myself at home wondering, okay, well, what's next? And I knew that I wanted to take a couple of months really to just decompress from that
Sure.
experience. I took those 2 months off, and I kept just thinking, where do I want to go next? And I couldn't find a hotel that really excited me. I couldn't find a company that excited me. And that's when I started to think about going into business for myself.
Okay.
I didn't have anything ready. I didn't have a business plan or anything. And then one day the fear started to creep in again, like, oh my gosh, this is the first time in my 22-year career, I've been working since I was 15 years old, that don't have a job. I don't have a plan. What am I going to do? And at that moment, my phone rang, and it was my first client. It was someone that was referred to me to help her. She was having a meeting, and as a director of sales and marketing, my focus was to bring meetings to resorts and hotels. And so we would bring incentives or meetings, and she was with a corporation that was looking to have a meeting. She had not planned a meeting in the past, and so a colleague of hers recommended that she work with me. And it was a colleague I worked with 10 years prior and just kept in touch through LinkedIn. And so when she called me, what came out of my mouth was that I was an independent and that I could help her. And so I don't know that, I always say that was divinely guided, because I was not independent. I wasn't planning on doing that. And that's really when Be Productive meetings and events took off. So that's when I decided to start my meeting planning company.
So you have 22 years experience. You are top notch. People respect you in the business, except for that one gentleman. So what did your family think about you kind of taking on this endeavor when you have all this experience in the hospitality management? What was their take on it?
So my mom was just like, what are you doing? You need to go get a 9 to 5. You can't do this. She was worried. My mom's a worrier, and her fear kicked in, right? My ex-husband at the time was not happy about it. He wanted me also to go get a 9 to 5. And so I really didn't have the support.
Okay.
from the family. But I was driven. I believed in myself. I knew that I had a very successful career, and I knew that I could do it on my own. I don't know. I just had that shift in my mindset,
Yeah.
that and really the desire to succeed.
Yes.
I said, I
Absolutely.
will
That
do
passion. Yeah.
I said, I will do I remember saying to myself, I am going to do everything I can not to step into another hotel and have to work at another hotel again.
I love that. So that was 2014-ish? Is that what
That
we're
No,
talking?
that was in 2013.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2013. So 6, 7 years ago. So you have some experience of coaching. So what do you think Vamari makes a great coach?
I think the non-judgment and really the listening part of it, and giving that guidance without giving the answers.
Let them figure it out on their own with
Mhm.
a little bit of a push.
Mhm.
All right, I love that. So if I am out at a networking event, and which down here in South Florida, we're supposed to be at 25%, but it's more like 50, 60, 75%. It seems.
Right.
And I'm pressing some flesh, and I'm meeting some people. What if I'm talking to someone one-on-one, what am I listening for that would make them a good prospect, referral connection for Vamari at Be Productive Coaching?
Someone who's a high performer and is not fulfilled, is not excited about the work that they're doing. They just know that there's something else out there, and they now have that enlightenment where they realize this is not what I want to be doing, but
So
I
they're
have no
stuck.
idea, but they're stuck and they have no
Okay.
idea. And I think the biggest thing is, most people think, and I felt that way too, is, am I going to be able to make the money that I need to
Sure.
make? Because this
Gotcha.
is what I've been doing for a long time.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. So when you're bringing somebody in on maybe a discovery, and then you say, okay, this person's going to be a great fit for Be Productive Coaching, or you're going to be a great fit for them. I need you to share a little bit of your secret sauce here, sister. What is your protocol, if you will, for helping to find their blind spot?
So my secret sauce is that I dig into their childhood, believe it or not. I go back to, I start with, when was the first time that you realized that you wanted to be something when you grew up? And then I go through the different stages of their childhood. So usually you first say, I want to be, a child that maybe 5 years old or 6 years old may say, I want to be a police officer.
Sure.
I want to be a fireman. And then, because that's what they see. And then I ask why. Why was that an interest? And then we go into like middle school,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go to high school.
So you dig deep.
I dig deep. I
Okay.
dig deep, and sometimes people don't understand. They're like, "Why do you want to know what I wanted to
No.
be when I grew up back
There's
then?"
programming facets that happen then that are making them what they are now, correct? Am I saying that right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And there's also a shift. So there's a lot of people that go into a specific industry, or they get a college degree in something because of their parents,
Right.
and not because it's something that really they had an interest in.
Sure.
It's that's a really difficult question to ask someone who's just about to graduate, a 17 or an 18-year-old. What do you
Right.
want to be when you grow up? I mean,
Sure.
I don't know how many people at that age
Really no.
really know and are
Yeah.
still doing what they decided that they wanted to do.
Gotcha. So if you brought somebody on, or let's say you're still kind of in the discovery process with them, Vamari, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Um, that's a great question. A question that
You wish that I would be reaching out to you and say, Vamari, tell me about a fail. Where have you failed? That's what I want my coaching clients to ask me, but
yeah,
you're a little bit differently because you're in the hospitality industry where you're having to turn it on every day. So, but what give me a question that you wish someone would ask you, please.
I guess, what took you so long?
That is awesome. That's one of the best answers to that question I've ever had. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Because and sometimes I find that I'm working with someone who's early in their career, but has really figured it out that that's not what they want to do. And they're maybe in their late 20s or early 30s.
Mhm.
And when I think about it, I wish I would have made the change then.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
So I think maybe, that's
That
why.
is, like, I'm looking at your website right now, and it's just like 22 years this and this, and with over 20 years experience in it. And it's, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, peeps, I don't have any idea how she's been doing anything for 22 years. She looks so young. Must be that Puerto Rican, which is fantastic. But yeah, I can see that's a great question. Like, what took you so long to understand that you're coaching material, but you are prepped doing what you did for so
Mhm,
long. You prepped yourself to be a coach.
mhm,
That's fantastic. So let's get in our uh, Marty McFly. You know who he is, right?
of
Okay,
course.
let's get in our DeLorean. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Vamari.
Mhm.
What kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on her with the experience that you have now?
It's stop questioning yourself. Um, I would say stop questioning yourself and just do it. Take take the chances. Take the risks, because we learn from our mistakes. If you are making a mistake, you learn from your mistakes, and
Right.
those mistakes help you continue to move forward.
I love it. And then what we say here at Time to Shine, get your asking gear.
Yeah.
Ask for help when needed. There's people
Hmm.
there that are willingly, you ask and it will, really ask.
Hmm.
Send it out to the universe, to God, and
Right.
he does provide, that's for sure. So,
Absolutely.
okay. So now we're going to move into your dash. We talk a lot about the dash here at Time to Shine today. And the dash, I want you to tell me how you want your dash remembered, that little mark in between your life date and death date. How do you want your dash to be
Hmm.
remembered? How, maybe your epitaph, how do you want Vamari legacy to be?
I want to be able to touch as many people as I can. I want to be able to make a difference in every interaction that I have.
Love it. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's a total goal giver, spirit, which a lot of us out here, we really appreciate that. So, okay, so let's take out our cell phone. Let's take out our laptop, anything electronic. There are three things Vamari cannot live without.
Coffee.
Yeah, we're both doing it. There you go.
Yep. Gotta have my coffee. Dark chocolate.
Ooh, there you go.
Dark chocolate. I just love my dark chocolate.
Your hubby's a given. So
Well,
I
yeah,
need a
of
third.
course. Yeah. I'm not thinking family, or because clearly my family always comes first.
Mhm, mhm.
You know, and I always say God comes first for me, because he does.
Absolutely.
I don't have anything, without him. But the third thing that keeps coming to my mind is my prayer
Okay.
life. I just
Gotcha.
have, yeah.
I would think with you, in a sense, also community. I think that you've been around people
Oh.
so much. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? That, like, from hospitality, I mean, you're dealing with different personalities running through that door. Just like your hubby and I deal with different personalities when they're purchasing probably their biggest investment they're going to make up to that point in their life.
Right.
You have a lot of emotions that come running, through that door. So I think that you crave community a little bit. Am I right in that?
You know, most people think I'm an extrovert,
Okay.
because I guess I could be. I'm a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't think, and I think most of us have a little bit of both. And so I think as I've gotten older, maybe I don't crave that community because I've created community.
Oh, listen to that baller out sentence right there. She doesn't crave it because she's created it. I love that. I love it. I'm going to
Between,
use that. Don't crave, create. All right,
yeah.
I'm stealing that. I'll give you credit on that. But Hey, so what is the B-I-G, the big thing Vamari wants to accomplish?
I want to be productive to be more than Vamari. I want to be productive I see a small firm where I bring on different coaches that have different strengths and that can, we can all follow in the mission
Okay.
of making a difference and bringing that excitement and that fulfillment to others.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. Just don't be stealing mine. I'm kidding. No, that's what we believe in here at Time to Shine Today, is really collaborate instead of compete.
Correct.
And just kind of really help everybody level up, work together to help everyone level up. So for Mari, what's your definition of a life well lived?
A joyful life, a peaceful life. And, as far as I can remember, I used to always say a life without regrets.
Love it. Love it. So we're going to, as we wind it down just a little bit, we're going to move into our leveling up lightning round. So you and I could talk 15, 20, 30 minutes on each one of these questions. You got 5 seconds, and we're going to time you. I'm kidding. We're not going to time you. But just whatever comes to you can answer all these off the top of your head.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
What's the best leveling up advice from Mari's ever received?
Oof. Tell people about what you do.
Love it. Love it. Share.
Share.
So speaking of sharing, share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
I schedule my alone time.
There you go. Little sabbaticals for yourself, right? You
Yes.
gotta have them.
Yep.
So other than your website, and of course, Time to Shine Today's website, my shameless plug, what other internet resource do you go to level up?
LinkedIn.
Okay, there you go. That's how we met. Right? So, not the book you're reading now, or like any flavor of the month. What's the one book that if someone's in the doldrums, they're really looking to level up? Like mine's The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, or The Go-Giver by Bob Berg. What is the book that you might hand somebody and say, read this, other than the good book, the Bible, but any other book?
Yeah. Because of what I do, and it's an assessment / book, because you can learn about your strengths. It's the Strengths Finder. It's a Gallup Strengths Finder.
Love it.
And so that directly relates to what I do. It's
Beautiful.
People finding their strengths.
And it digs.
I have another one though.
What's that book?
And I just read it recently. Essentialism, by Greg McKeown.
Okay.
I found that that's the book everyone should be reading right now.
Love it. I just came across a new one too. It's called Buddha and the Badass. Fantastic book.
Okay.
Fantastic book. So tell me, what is your most commonly used emoji when you're texting?
I think the prayer.
The prayer one? Okay. I love it. So if you could be one age for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The age that I am now, 42.
Beautiful. All right. Look at you, 42. I mean, I always say between 28 and 32, so I'm 48, I'm 49. So it's like I always kind of go back that just for the way my body felt. Like I'm still take care of myself, but it's like the body feeling that.
So I agree, because I was doing my yoga this morning and I was a little,
tight, right?
Tight. So I guess body-wise, it would be in my 30s, because I feel early 30s. So maybe 28 and 30.
Gotcha.
But mind-wise, I would say, and spirit-wise, right now.
You got that
42.
Wisdom now. Love it. Love it. So what's your favorite charity or organization you'd like to give your time and or money to?
So I would say it's my local church. So my St. Martha's. And then I am Catholic. I do contribute to Dynamic Catholic.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. Last question. What is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I'm a 70s girl.
Oh, there you go. We can definitely
I love my disco.
The 70s was like every kind of decade, 70s, 80s, and 90s were so transitional.
Right.
You had your disco, but you also had like your classic rock, and then you kind of moved into the 80s with your British bands, U2, and then, you know, Irish bands or whatnot, and the big hair bands, you know, and then the 90s brought us Nirvana and Pearl Jam. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I love the 70s. So that's what I have on every morning. I have it on iHeartRadio 70s. It's fantastic. So,
yeah, I love 70s.
Vamari, how can we find you?
You can find me on my website, so beproductivecoaching.com. LinkedIn, I'm a big LinkedIn user,
Yes, you are.
so connect with me on LinkedIn, Vamari Roman. And I'm all over social media. So I do have an Instagram, it's Be Productive Coaching.
Yep.
Facebook is also Be Productive Coaching, and my Twitter is Be Productive MIA.
MIA. What I put that in the Twitter. Why is it MIA?
Because, you know, Twitter only allows a certain
amount
of characters.
Yeah.
And when I first created my Twitter, it was when I first had my first company, Be Productive Meetings and Events.
In Miami.
And in Miami.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why it was Be Productive MIA. So
I feel you. Awesome. So you're going to write a book or what?
I want to. It's been a dream for a long time.
I think with your story, kiddo, you need to write one. And I would almost write it in a business parable. Like I would almost write it as in somebody that came up through the hospitality business and into like the mentors. You had to have had mentors show up in your life that we didn't even discuss just because my time constraints. But I'm sure that I think that you should definitely write a book. If you need help, you know, I would be happy to put you in touch with the people.
Oh, absolutely. Because that's something I love writing.
You have to.
I just haven't figured out which is the first story to tell. So
yeah, you have to. So leave the time to shine today, squad, with the one last knowledge nugget you want them to take with them, internalize, and take action on, Vamari.
Take action now. The time is now.
The time is now. And I love that, squad. The time is now. And we just had basically a full-blown masterclass with my sister from another mister, Vamari. She's fantastic. She's vibrant. She's fiery. She doesn't have, like, as a coach, she coaches without judgment, and she gives guidance, but never gives the answers. And that is the sign of a great coach. You just don't want to be told what to do. You want to figure it out by yourself a little bit, you know, with the guidance. And if you're stuck, you need that guidance, reach out to me and I can gladly put you in touch directly with Vamari. Although all of her information's down into the show notes. She's a coach that really digs into people's past. She really cares. And she wants to know how you were formed so she can take that, put it together with her expertise and help you level up and move forward. And she said, don't crave, but create. So if you don't really want something, go create it. Go make that life that you want. She wants to be more than Vamari. She wants to touch and help people and live life with no regrets. And Vamari is humble yet hungry. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's part of our squad now. Thank you so much for coming on, Vamari. It was our pleasure, 100%.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Scott.
Excellent. Take care.